Hello, welcome to our video podcast series 7 Worlds. This series delves into the pressing issues of climate action, energy transition, cutting-edge technology, and also world cultures. Through in-depth discussions with experts, activists, and thought leaders, we aim to unravel the complexities of environmental challenges and explore innovative solutions shaping our world. In our first episode, we are honored to host Peshang Karim, a distinguished researcher, engineer, and climate activist. Join us, please, as Peshang will provide a multifaceted perspective on pivotal environmental issues, with a special focus on the implications and outcomes of the recent United Nations Climate Conference, COP28 in Dubai. Hi, Peshang. How are you? I hope you are in good shape. You actually live and study in Poland, in Warsaw. Could you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah. Hello, good afternoon, good evening for the audience which are seeing us whenever they are. And I hope that the new year brings joyful and peace to the world, Bruno. So happy new year. And my name is Peshang Hama Karim. I am from the Kurdistan region of Iraq. And I am living in Poland since 2018. I came here to study my master's degree in environmental engineering. And then after that, I learned Polish here. And now
It's a difficult
I'm in
language, yes? It's difficult language.
Yes. But I like because there are some common words between Kurdish and Polish. So yeah, I've started my PhD at the University of Warsaw in the field of hydrology, and now I'm in the last stage, in the thesis stage of my PhD thesis. And so hopefully I'll be able to finish my studies by this year, by mid 2024. And currently I'm an intern at UNESCO in the Intergovernmental Hydrological Program, focusing mostly on hydrology and eco-hydrology. Also, aside from my side of being a researcher, I'm more active in the activism area of being a climate activist, and I have presented many seminars about the climate change in Kurdish, in Arabic, in English, and not in Polish yet, but I hope that I will be able to also give seminars in Polish. But anyway, so I am part of the contact point of the Water and Climate Working Group of YUNGO, which is the Children and Youth constituency of the UNFCCC, which is the main party that's hosting the high-level conference of parties every year. I'm the regional youth focal point for Middle East at the United International Federation of Youth. I'm the CEO of the Jingadosti, aka Eco-Friends environmental organization in Iraq and Kurdistan. And we have implemented many environmental projects in my home country. And so basically this is my short biography about myself. And it's nice to be here with you, Mr. Bruno. Thank you.
Yes, very nice. I'm very happy to have you here. So, Peshang, please tell us, what's your take on the last United Nations Climate Conference in Dubai, COP28? Do you think they're making a real difference and change in tackling climate change, especially for places like Iraq, like Iraqi Kurdistan, but also like Poland? Did anything specific from the conference catch your attention?
Yeah. So basically, Bruno, the good thing and the bad thing about the COP, which is the highest level of meeting the parties in a place. So basically, a conference of parties, COP, This year was held, last year was held in Dubai, and more than 140,000 people participated, Bruno. So the number was huge, and for the first time we had around 4,000 climate lobbies, fossil fuel lobbyists participating in the conference. So it was a huge momentum there. So people were demonstration, the activists were demonstrating about transition of the fossil fuel, and they demanded the parties to have to end the era of fossil fuel at COP28. And what happens? What in the first day, a very nice outcome came from the early first day of the COP, which the parties just announced the operationalization of the loss and damage fund for the developing countries, and millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, just were donated for the least developed countries to use them as the repairment for the loss and damage. World Bank came and said that I can host the money and operationalize the money. So it was really nice. So the first days of COP was very good momentum, and then in the early and in between, many things happened. So basically, I can tell you that countries had published $200 of millions for funding for loss and damage, and commitment for giving more than $3.5 billion for the replenish of the resources of the Green Climate Fund, announcement of the $150 million for the least developing countries, special climate fund, and etc. etc. So many new things came. So, and 120 countries just backed the COP28 UAE Climate and Health Declaration, and over 130 countries signed up the UN Declaration for the agriculture, food, and climate support, and for the food security and global cooling pledge was announced during. So COP28 was really fruitful until the 11th day or the 12th day of COP, when everyone, because this year at COP they announced a new climate global stocktake, and just a day before the final day of COP, a draft of the global stocktake was announced, and it was shocking for everyone. Even we had a meeting with the executive secretary of the UNFCCC. He was also shocked because from a draft of 11,000 words, Bruno, there wasn't any word mentioning oil and gas. So, but the thing is, the climate change, so it's oil and gas, so they didn't mention. Even it was like that. An oil company has written this draft, so it was shocking for everyone. And the parties were, I remember those days because we stayed there until 2-3 a.m. waiting for the declaration, a positive thing coming. We demand phase out of fossil fuel immediately, but the thing was the outcome was totally different. There wasn't mentioning about anything about phase out, phase down, nothing. So in the last day was really struggling for the climate activists. And in the last day, so the final declaration of COP, they said that, okay, we will start phasing out fossil fuels. So and from the press conference of the UNFCCC executive secretary, Simon Stale, he said that we cannot say that COP28 finished the fossil fuel area, but we can say that this is the beginning of the end of the fossil fuel era, which in my opinion, it was really good, because we should not forget that COP28 hosted by a CEO of the Abu Dhabi National Oil Company. So basically, and having an outcome like that coming from a CEO of the oil company, it was really over my expectation. But overall, COP28 was more successful than the Sharm el-Sheikh, in my opinion. But we hope for the better COPs and better pledge and the commitments from the parties in the upcoming COPs.
Yeah, you know, one of the most important issues, actually, problems we are facing now in the world is water problems, water shortages. Also in your own country, in Iraq, in Iraqi Kurdistan. Can you share your thoughts on the water shortage problem in Iraq? What do you think are the main reasons behind it? How do you think climate change is making things worse? Have you noticed any big environmental changes locally or in the region?
Yeah, so basically, Bruno, as a self-experience from my point of view, I became, because as you may know, that my bachelor major is civil engineering. So I came from a concrete, from concrete, and I entered the soft power of climate. So the thing that pushed me to change my major, and I really like being a civil engineer. I published a CD of how a good civil engineer can be. So I liked my major, but the main thing that pushed me to be a climate activist and be a climate engineer and expert was that I was seeing my home country, my region, my village just going day by day is devastating, and day by day they are ruined. And we face a heat wave in the summer. We have faced a flood in the winter. So I said that I should do something for my country, because I see by my own eye that the climate is changing and it's affecting all of us. And when I looked in my region, I saw far less, unfortunately, climate experts. So that was my main motivation point to come to Europe, to get a good education there, and to go back and just raise awareness in my home country, because we all need we all deserve to live in a better world and a safer world. So that was my main point of motivation. So I'm coming back to your question. I saw by my own eye that the climate is changing in Iraq, and just for the sake of scientific thing, let me tell you that Iraq is known to be among the 5 countries worldwide suffering from the climate change and consequences of water scarcity. So we face water scarcity. Iraq suffers greatly from the poor agricultural practices. So this is the main issue, that which agriculture, you know, that they need a huge amount of the quantity of water, and the population growth in Iraq is really high. So we are talking about 2.5% each year, so which is really high. And so we have many cases that, like, climate is changing, drought. We have 70% of the fertile land of Iraq is now became unfertile. Bruno, this is really scary. And since 2017 in Iraq, officially we have climate migrants. So people are migrating from the villages to the cities because of the climate changing, because they don't have a source of water to drink. And because the population increases, so the demand and the human consumption of water increases. So, and also we have a huge problem in Iraq. The 2 main sources of fresh water in Iraq are the Tigris and the Euphrates River in the country. And unfortunately, our neighbors from Turkey and from Iran, they are not obliging the international laws of the transboundary waters. Iran just recirculated the water of the Sirwan River to its own country, which is totally illegal and against human rights. And Turkey built several dams, like 20 dams, and it's called the ZAP project, so GAF project, and they just reduced the triggers and Euphrates River, the quantity to 80%. So basically, we just get 20% of what's left. And internally in Iraq, Iraq is suffering from a poor water management and politics. and practices, lack of the capability and capacity building. So those, when you combine all of those things, we see that Iraq is really
in a very bad situation with regard of water scarcity and water-related issues. And the water security in Iraq is under threat. The drought in just in my home city in Suleimania, we used to have we were digging wells to extract water from the ground, and normally the amount of we needed to dig around 50 meters, okay, 50 meters just to get water. Now we need to dig more than 200 meters just to dig to get fresh water. So this shows how devastating, how scary the situation is. In Erbil, which is the capital of the Kurdistan region, we used to get water when we dig 70 meters. Now we should dig 700 meters to get water. So it's really threatening us, and this is happening in front of our eyes, and the poor management of the water issues in the region is also just making the thing worse and worse.
Yeah, but do you think could be any game changer there for solving Iraq's water scarcity problems? Any cool tax, smart policies, whatever, or community efforts? What do you think? What could really help? Is anything like that?
So yeah, by the way, I like the thing that you ask. So you ask about the problem, then you ask about the solution, which is really good. So if we want to make a change, we should
explain the both sides. So the why, what's the problem, and how can we solve it? And basically, so the actions that which helps to improve the water management and reduce the expectation of the water scarcity in the region can be, for example, the wide-scale application of the modern irrigation methods, which we don't have in Iraq. We use the old method of the irrigation, which consumes much water. So a model irrigation method and abandoning wasteful traditional methods is really helping that, and taking actions to improve water quality in the rivers and water management, to use them instead of the wells and groundwater. So we use them as a source of the water, drinking water, and recycling of all municipal sewage waters, because we don't have recycling of the sewage water. So all the sewage water is entering the rivers, which is really catastrophic for us, and which is very carcinogenic for the village pupils. And so recycling of the municipal sewage water to eliminate the contamination of natural rivers and streams, and add more water to the free resource. And also the introduction of the water desalinization, which is really important, and application of the rainfall harvesting methods. So because each year in Iraq, especially in northern Iraq, we have a huge amount of the rainfalls, and sometimes due to the climate change, we have floods. So we should build ponds and dams just to collect the rainfall water and use them in winters, or use them for the agriculture. And application also, so basically, and we can use the methods of the possible to reduce the flash floods and damage and recharge groundwater aquifers, because what I explained to you, that the aquifer of the groundwater has been reduced dramatically. And also invest much more on the water sector than what's presently is done now, to have the water management, to have the monitoring stations for the rivers, and to monitor the salinity, the chemical status, the heavy metals inside the rivers, and to continue negotiation with Turkey and Iran, which is, in my opinion, really important, because solving the transboundary waters with the neighbors is really important, because as you know that according to the international law, and I think Helsinki law, for the transboundary waters, you are allowed to use the percentage of the river's length that's located in your country. For example, if that in Turkey the triangle is 30 kilometers and 70 kilometers in Iraq,
So Turkey is only allowed to use 30% of that water. So in this scale, we have a law which is called the Declaration of Helsinki, but for the transboundary waters. So Iraq should invite both Turkey and Iran to oblige to the Helsinki Declaration and to respect the transboundary waters. Also, this will help improve the water issues in the country. And in Iraq, the water management system is really old style. So we have to look for the developing countries and to developed country and see how they manage the water in their country. And most importantly,
looking back at the discussion, at the discussions at the COP28 United Nations Conference, what do you think? How important is international cooperation, specifically in tackling water scarcity globally, because it's a problem in Africa, in Asia, also in Poland, actually, and specifically in countries like Iraq? Are there any specific forms, tools to support or collaboration that you think are necessary from the global community?
Yeah. So basically, it's really important that we should learn from to get to enter to those negotiations at the conference of parties, especially COPs, and to have a takeaway from the COPs. Basically, if you ask me, what was the thing that made you happy, that was that in COP28, more than 60 countries pledged to just reclaim and restore around 300,000 kilometers of the freshwater bodies in the world, which is around 30% of all the rivers in the world. So they pledged to reclaim those things, and those things coming out in those international conferences. So it's important that countries like Poland, like Iraq, use those conferences that to take benefit, to take action more for the sake of their own people and themselves, and use those things as an opportunity. From the perspective of Iraq as a developing country, we need to have concrete plans and to go to COP with a concrete plan. I spoke with the authorities in my country. I told them that we should have a clear path of what we are doing, what we are demanding, what we want to do. And then we should make negotiations with other parties prior to COP. And in COP, we just find the agreements between us, and we take the funds and use the funds, mobilize the funds for the implementing the project to tackle the climate change, food security, water scarcity in my own country. So and most importantly, Bruno, we have to feel the responsibility. So me as a person, I feel responsible of my own carbon footprint in my own region. The government should respect and should feel that they are responsible. They need to do huge steps, and they need to make. And as a country which we export oil, so we are a victim of climate change, but we are also a cause of the climate change. So we have to transition our natural resources gradually. We should have a vision, and we should have a mission, and we should act now, because now we can simply change things, but not 30 years from now. 30 years from now, things will be much worse. So now we have time to make change, and the world is watching. Iraq's people, so all the communities are watching the Iraqi government. Polish people are watching the Polish government, and they demand them. Our future is on your hands, so don't ruin them, please. So this is what we ask for the government.
Yes, thank you very much, Peshang, for your insights. It was really wonderful. What you have said was wonderful conclusion, actually. what is needed globally, what is needed in Iraq, but also in Poland. Thank you so much again. I hope we'll meet again in the future. And now, if you like our channel, 7 Worlds, please subscribe to it. And I hope to see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.